In this session that we are going to discuss about the ecosystem and the biodiversity, that is from the module 1. So what is the ecosystem? Like biologically, the biological community like of interacting the organisms and their physical environment. So that will be our ecosystem. And also in this the simple definition for this ecosystem, like the community of group of living organisms, you can see in as shown in the figure, that live and also interact with each other in the specific environment. And also the example, for example, if I want to give any example for ecosystem, like aquatic ecosystem, and also the ecosystem, for example, in rainforest, and also the urban ecosystem and other the types of ecosystem, which is all the living and non-living things which is specific in the natural setting. And also the major types of ecosystem or the forest, grasslands, the fresh water or in the marine. The word biome, that is biome, may also be used to describe the terrestrial ecosystem, which extend across a large geographic area, such as many ecosystems. And also ecology, that all living organisms, whether plant or animal or a human being, which is surrounded by the environment on which it derive its needs for its survival. And also each component interacts with non-living components for the basic requirements from the different ecosystem. And also the main definition, that is the group of organisms like reacting among the themselves and also with the environment, is known as ecosystem. And also thus an ecosystem is in community of different species interacting with one another, and also like with the other non-living environment, exchanging the energy and the matter. Example, like animals cannot synthesize their food directly but depend on the plants, maybe it is directly or indirectly. And also ecosystem is in geographic area which where the plants, animals and other organisms, as well as weather or any landscape, or work together to form a the group. They form the group to lead a life. And ecosystem, like it may be a combine of biotic, that is living, or abiotic, that we will see in the next slides. Before that, types of ecosystem, that is terrestrial ecosystem and aquatic ecosystem. Here the natural ecosystem like operate themselves under natural conditions based on habitat types. Maybe it can be further classified into three types, that is terrestrial ecosystem, aquatic ecosystem, so the marine ecosystem. And in the terrestrial ecosystem, this ecosystem is related to mainly the land, maybe the desert or grassland or the forest, etc. Aquatic means definitely it is on the water, it's based on the water. And also it is very much subdivided into again freshwater ecosystem and the running water ecosystem. Example like rivers, streams, and also the standing water ecosystem. Example like a pond and the lake. So there will be stagnant of water we can see. And also in the marine ecosystem, like as we know, seas and the sea area, seashores, that area will be considered as a marine ecosystem. And the man-made, that is man-made or artificial ecosystems, that is artificially like ecosystem is operated or maintained by the man himself, for example the croplands or the gardens. And structure or the components of the ecosystem, like the term structure refers to the various components. So the structure of an ecosystem explains the relationship between the biotic and the abiotic. The abiotic means non-living components and biotic means living components. So there are two major components we are having, that is living and non-living components. Biotic components is living organisms, like community of living organisms in conjunction with the non-living components of their environment and interacting of a system. And also the living organisms or living members in ecosystem collectively form its community called the biotic component. And also, for example, plants, animals, and the microorganisms. Here, plants that are producers, and animals are the consumers, and microorganisms it is the decomposers. And about non-living component, that is abiotic components, the non-living component, that is physical and chemical of ecosystem, which is collectively form a community, which is called abiotic component, and also the abiotic community. Examples like climate, soil, water, air, energy, nutrients, etc. And also physical components, that is they include energy, climate, raw materials, and living spaces that a biological community needs. For example, like air, water, soil, sunlight, etc. We can take this the examples for non-living things. And also this ecosystem are very much controlled by the external and internal factors, that is external factors such as climate and other forms, that soil and topography, like control the overall structure of an ecosystem, but are not themselves influenced by an ecosystem, but also like they are themselves influenced, like unlike external factors, like internal factors are also controlled. For example, the decomposition and also the root completions, that species which is present in this type of the ecosystem. And also the chemical components, that is in the physical components they include the physical things, that is climate, raw materials, and other living spaces, and they are very much useful for the growth and maintenance of that member. And chemical components means they are the source of essential nutrients, for example the organic substances, protein, lipids, carbohydrates, etc. In organic substances, all micro and macro elements, and also the few other elements, that is micro means that is Al, Co, and Zu and Cu. So here the mainly the chemical components which is in the ecosystem, maybe it will be with a different ecosystem will be considered, that is terrestrial ecosystem, forest ecosystem, grassland ecosystem, desert, and freshwater, or the marine. And which ecosystem, like we are like if you want to see, like we live in a terrestrial ecosystem, that is ecosystem of which include the forest, rainforest, tropical areas, desert, and grasslands, which also constitute a terrestrial ecosystem. And also this ecosystem, like if you want to give an example of this system, for example for this system, like it is a system of constituting, as I said, biotic and abiotic components, that together you can make a unite. And the biotic components, which is made of an ecosystem science definition, like an ecological community which is constituting of different population of organisms that live together and in a particular habitat. And also the natural sciences, like ecology and other geography, defines an ecosystem as a geographic area where organisms, weather, and landscape work together to form a group to lead the life. And also, just as a living organism is made up of the different types of cells, like also constituted fundamental units called ecosystem. And also this community plus the environment ecologically interacts between population, or between the the organisms and the environment, can be viewed in a different level. For example, individual, or a population, or a community of an ecosystem. And ecology at the level of individual is concerned with the individual organisms and also reproduction and development. At the level of population, ecology deals the primarily with the mainly with the attributes and the various factors which is affecting on the population. And this ecology studies that interactions between populations and community patterns. At the level of an ecosystem, ecology puts all of them together and to understand how the system operates as a unit. Thus, an ecosystem ecology would be more concerned about the energy which is flow and the nutrient cycles, that is nitrogen cycle, carbon cycle, phosphorus cycles, all out individual species. So that one we're going to see in the coming sessions. Thank you.